into this. So, short-term goals. We've got quite a number, and probably too many. So we'll be looking to refine these for 2026. And again, a lot of them are probably more actions rather than goals. So we'll do some work on that. Our pros goal department restructure is still ongoing. We'll hopefully, be in a position come January. We will be in a position come January to launch that to the public. Point 2 is sort of related to point 1, right? And a lot of these will be because once we have an integrated department, we can then build our structures and our consistent onboarding processes to make sure everybody's getting the same message about the same things at the same time. Again, financial and operational systems, that's an ongoing one as well. How do we bring two ways of doing things into one? We're making progress, and that will continue into 2026. The next one, it's probably not overly relevant anymore. Again, when I started this time last year, so I inherited a number of these, we were going to run leases, our department. That hasn't really worked out that way. So we can revisit that for 2026 and say, is that something you see our department as a function, or do you want it to stay within your remit?
I'm sorry, we didn't set that goal. What do you say?
No, so at the moment, that goal was set with the idea that the Parks and Rec Pros department would run lease management. That hasn't really worked out, so it's continued to sit with the BOCC to decide leases and how they work and outcomes. We can either remove that for 2026, or you can instruct us that it's one of our functions. Cool.
We've really tried to also get finance and legal helping with leases, so we don't find out we have.
Yeah.
So I think it was last year, might have been 2 years ago, they changed how we have to report leases on our audit, and they get reported a lot differently now, so we've really tried to make sure leases are running through legal, finance, that they're actually getting accounted for correctly, so we don't end up liable for it's crazy things, or fail our audits.
Again, not probably a goal, but more of just a business as usual improvement. Continuing our training program for coaches, making sure we're delivering best practice, making sure people are getting accurate information and feeling supported. I think we're doing some really good work there, and we'll continue that. It's an ongoing process. Again, same with existing, evaluating our programs. Again, I want to, moving forward, make sure we have one way of evaluating our programs, not two different ways. We're measuring the same things, the same outcomes across the county, and how they relate back to your priorities.
Or to grant.
Yes, whatever, however the program is funded. Fee structure, again, we've talked about a lot about this around making sure that our fees across our department for not only our programs but also our facilities reflect value and reflect a tightening environment where we need to make a greater return. So we'll look to present something to you by the end of the year for a fee structure for 2026, probably more around our facilities at this point, to then adopt. So we actually have, here's the structure, and then we review it annually. Cool. More short-term goals. So the Blue Elements Watershed Project, so that was a pass-through grant to get a whole lot of AmeriCorps volunteer people to do watershed health, river monitoring, things like that. Unfortunately, that AmeriCorps program has been one of the casualties of the federal government. So we're working with them to redefine what's that going to look like. Because if we haven't got the people, how do we still do that really important work? Can it be changed slightly? Things like that. So that's.
Would that be under you, or wouldn't that move into
They'll probably
resources?
move
Yeah.
into Bryce's area, into the Natural Resources Department. So we'll loop him in around how that works. Climate Action Plan is going along quite well. We have finished our community consultation stage at this point, and we're getting down into the weeds now around what are the actual actions and strategies that we're going to develop to bring back to you to get some input and direction on. We still hope to have that wound up by February. So that's that. Yeah, I'm happy it's been back on track. Right, we went off the rails for a while, so now it's back on schedule. So yeah, we're happy with how that system's going.
Will that also still live with, will also
No,
not be
that
going
will,
to Bryce?
yeah, that'll probably move to.
I'll be working with Bryce on it, and I'll probably handle a lot of the climate action plan work.
Cool. Yep. Again, ongoing work, evaluation systems, right? How do we measure impact of goal programs, but not only goal programs, our WIC programs. How do we design an evaluation system which is appropriate for everything that we do, right? And we can measure the same things. Strengthening the Tino Latinx community engagement. So we're doing some really good work with the once a month program that Claudio delivers, getting really some good support there. I think it's a really important touch point for us, in going forward as well, to continue that, because it's building those partnerships, building that community gathering. The Outdoor Equity Summit, again, that was delivered, when was that, Brian? February?
Last weekend.
The Outdoor Equity Summit.
Last weekend in February.
Yeah, so the last weekend. Yeah, again, that program, that event is going strength to strength and continues to build, so I think it's a really essential part of what we do. Okay. Long term, again, expand our funding sources to support our department, our combined department, direct service programs. What are our opportunities out there? How can we utilise multi-year grants across our department to strengthen what we do? The capital facilities list, that's moved sideways a little bit, I guess, right, into a bigger piece of work across the county, right? So what have we got, how are we maintaining it, how much is it going to cost to bring it up to required standard? A signage project, this is something out of the Parks, Recs and Military Space Master Plan, so we haven't made much progress on that. I want to progress it in 26. How do we make sure we've got bilingual signage everywhere, right? And it's consistent. So, Mineral Belt Trail, so we've got a grant currently through Colorado Parks and Wildlife for $50,000, just under, to do some planning for an extension of the mineral belt along County Roads 4 and 9 to Turquoise Lake. So we're just writing an RFP for that at the moment to look at, okay, how would a trail there link to the mineral belt trail, because it is physically separated at the moment. We've got existing footpath / bike trail along County Road 4 on two different parts of the road. They're not the same, they're not joined. How do we get that thinking to happen to make it all one thing?
To the lake.
What's that?
To the lake.
Yeah. So writing an RFP for that. We haven't made any progress on ADA compliant trails Hayden Meadows.
I wanna add to the ADA compliant trails, and that's something I think we've been a little understaffed on people who can help us manage ADA compliance, and those types of things, so earnestly, that had sort of, it was Lauren, who did not have capacity to do much more with that, and Kelsey, DHS, so you can imagine if, not Kelsey, sorry, Laura.
Okay.
Laura with DHS, and we recognize that those are people who would not have a lot of bandwidth to focus on that.
Yeah.
So, Stuart is partway through completing his classes to kind of be a second ADA compliance person. So that we actually can identify some of those areas and continue to do work towards becoming compliant, and we know that this is one of the things on our list, so we recognize that we have a lot of places where we could be addressing some ADA compliance issues across the board, not just on trails, but just in general across our entire organization. So we do have Stuart wrapping up that training in the next couple of weeks so that we have more people. I think we didn't understand that we could have multiple compliance people for the size of our county, and so we have learned that and decided that we should have more people working towards that, so. Sorry, didn't mean to.
Yeah, it's good
It is on
context, right? Yeah.
Would that still live with pros then, or would that live with road and bridge?
I think it'll be a combination of items. I think the Mineral Road Trail is a really big rec asset, so there are different components, so we'll probably keep this with Parks and Rec, and we're gonna have to work through some of the things that will be transitioning. It's not like we wake up tomorrow and everything shifts, like people have to have a plan to work through change.
Yeah, totally.
So, I don't know, I think it'll be up for discussion. I do think we will want people working together on projects like that, so I'm not sure yet.
Okay. I'm just wondering, because my impression of these conversations is to be able to hear staff's short-term and long-term goals and then be able to see it reflected in the budget.
Yes,
So if it's in a different department, I just wanna make sure that I know where I'm looking for it when I actually look at the budget.
so we would never be like ADA mineral belt, so even if you were
Right.
looking for it, it's not like you would find it in that sort of way.
No, but in the
Um,
capacity building.
Yeah, so I think we did put funds in the natural resources management department. We also have funds in Duncan's department. I think it'll be a discussion. It takes 2 seconds to make a transfer between those two funds,
Yeah.
or not even funds, 2 people in the general fund, so it wouldn't have to be nailed down at this moment for the budget.
Yeah.
They're in the same fund.
Again, the climate action considerations, I think that's more of an organisational
Yeah.
discussions, you know. Yes, with the small things my department can do to contribute to that, but yeah, some of the big things are gonna be other departments.
Totally.
Again, ongoing, how do we ensure that all our programs reflect our community equally as much as we can, right? That's an ongoing discussion, and I don't think it's ever gonna be an easy one to solve, but I'm excited, right? Little buddy, right? Again, building relationships, increasing a Spanish language first programming across our department, you know, understanding how that would work, you know, building our capacity to be able to deliver that, that's important too. Again, some of our strategic planning stuff, making sure our programs and our directions reflect what the community actually wants, and we're constantly, or certainly annually, reviewing that. So building those systems, an example might be we have an annual question survey on what people think of our programs. You know, can we build some baseline and then build that year upon year. And finally, taking systems and working, we've done a lot of work with the finance team, and many thanks to them to bring our operations under one umbrella and making sure we've got as accurate information as we can at the time. So that's been hard and will continue to be little pinch point, but we're making real good progress there. Because we need one sources of the trash. Yeah. So that's where we're at.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lot, right? So,
Where's it take? What are you gonna do next?
I know, yeah, it is next week, isn't it? Right? Yeah.
I think one of the big things we've been talking about is really looking at part-time staffing costs, programming costs, and opportunities for grants, and also to just like ask ourselves on the facilities front, how much are we charging for facilities? Does it make sense in terms of maintaining the facilities? So that's one of the big things that myself, Rachel, will be working, with Duncan's team, because it's a lot. They have a lot of things that fall under their umbrella that I think we've let people have a lot of autonomy to make a lot of decisions without any data. Like on the finance end, I think that's across the board, but we recognize that this is a department that really could become a little more cost neutral if we can figure out like, hey, are we staffing way too many people, way too little people, where can we utilize people who are full-time to cover one another if times are slow or busy, and utilize part-time staff where needed, but have a plan for it instead of, I think we don't always have a clear plan, and it's nice to have outside eyes to say, okay, everybody look at this together and how can we come up with a plan for making sure that maybe we do start to offset some of the costs associated with rec and utilize all of our materials that we have, so we can start to work on, a lot of the feedback we got from the community was on the improving the assets that we have, our rec assets, so I think it's a bigger question too of, can we be budgeting a little more smartly, so if we have a long-term rec asset that we wanna invest in, we have to have like a plan for saving for it, cause maybe we can't do it this year, but if we have a good plan, we could save up and actually have money to put towards fixing some of the things that I think have fallen in disrepair.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Duncan.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
Alright.
Sure, yeah, sure.
Alright, I don't know who started this, I apologize for being 2 minutes late.
It's okay, I did it. Okay, it's 2:08. This ends Lake County BSCC's afternoon work session. Thank you, staff.
Thank you.
I know.
It's horrendous.
I am really